What's up, Taiwan? I'm Jaime Ocon with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Starting out with some local news. A China-imposed no-fly zone near Taiwan this Sunday is for the launch of a weather satellite. That's according to Taiwanese security officials. The no-fly zone, which is roughly 85 nautical miles north of Taiwan, was originally scheduled to last 3 days. But Taiwan says it convinced China to shorten it to just half an hour. China later issued a separate sea warning for 6 hours in the area due to falling debris. Taiwanese officials say that the no-fly zone is not related to China's recent large-scale military drills. For more on the no-fly zone and how it could affect Taiwan, I spoke to Kitch Liao, a security analyst with the Atlantic Council based in Washington, D.C.
What do we know so far about this no-fly zone?
So the fly zone is smack in the middle, actually a little bit earlier than the proposed rocket launch of the weather satellite. So the weather satellite is supposed to launch from Jiuquan base at 9:45 a.m., I believe, local time. So that's where, that's how you got the no-fly zone from 9 to 4 p.m., I believe. That's to basically, to give sufficient buffer time in case some of the, launch stages and debris actually fell into the area. The fact that they actually marked this area, I think our worry is they didn't actually mark it large enough, because that's the thing, this is the expected reentry for the for some of the debris and stages that's going to be falling. What if there's an accident? What are the potential danger zones if this launch did not go as planned? Because that's what happened last time with the Philippines issuing warning, and also earlier in Africa.
How significant is the fact that Taiwan says it managed to push China back to shortening the duration of the no-fly zone to 27 minutes?
So I think what we're seeing here is the surfacing of what used to be pragmatic discussions, because there's always tacit understanding on both sides, just like before with the UAV incidents. On the operational sides, both sides do talk and they do negotiate and see what's actually reasonable, right? 27 minutes, that's the extent of the launch required for the rocket to reach orbit. The 6 hours, there's a lot of reporting on why 6 hours, right? They perhaps want to basically clean up the debris that actually fell into the ocean. So I would not make too much hay of it. I would actually say it might actually be better that this was not in the news, because that's the nature of tacit understanding and pragmatic discussions.
That was Kitch Liao, a security analyst with the Atlantic Council based in Washington, D.C. Germany's Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock says that Europe must not turn a blind eye to the tensions between China and Taiwan. Here's what she said on Thursday.
Und eine militärische Eskalation in der Straße von Taiwan, wo, wie gesagt, 50% der wirtschaftlichen Lieferungen durchgehen, wäre ein Worst-Case-Szenario weltweit, aber gerade auch für uns als eine der größten Industrienationen.
The foreign minister struck a different tone from that of recent comments by French President Emmanuel Macron. Last week, he said that Europe should avoid getting caught up in crises that aren't related to the continent. Baerbock is currently on a 3-day visit to China. She will meet with senior Chinese officials in Beijing on Friday. Baerbock is expected to raise issues such as Taiwan, human rights, and the war in Ukraine. China has sanctioned a U.S. lawmaker over his recent visit to Taiwan. McCaul heads the House Foreign Relations Committee. He led a delegation to Taiwan last week when he met with President Tsai Ing-wen. McCaul said he'd help speed up U.S. arms sales to the country. Beijing views Taiwan as part of its territory and objects to any official interaction between Taipei and other countries. In a statement, the congressman said, being sanctioned by the Chinese Communist Party is a badge of honor. The FBI has arrested a man suspected of leaking hundreds of highly classified U.S. security documents. The suspect's name is Jack Teixeira. The 21-year-old U.S. Air Force National Guard member was arrested on Thursday. The leaks originated on the social media platform Discord. They show that the U.S. is spying on its allies, such as Ukraine, Israel, and South Korea, as well as its adversaries in North Korea, China, and Iran. Teixeira will be charged under the Espionage Act, which makes it a crime to release classified information.
Today, the Justice Department arrested Jack Douglas Teixeira in connection with an investigation into alleged unauthorized removal, retention, and transmission of classified national defense information.
Back in Taiwan, farmers across the country are suffering amid historic drought. The lack of rain is threatening crops as diverse as coffee and mangoes. And as John Van Trieste reports, forecasters aren't expecting much rain for the next couple of months.
For the farmers of Gukeng Township in Yunlin County, it's shaping up to be a disastrous year. Normally, the fields around this central Taiwan town produce a little over 60 metric tons of coffee. But cold snaps and a drought unlike any seen in decades have decimated the latest crop.
1、2月跟3月采收的所有的咖啡豆看起来果实都是好的，可是我们脱皮脱壳之后呢，发现里面都50%以上都是不好的果实。
These losses are part of the $11 million Taiwanese farmers have endured since February. The bulk of crop failures are across Taiwan's central and southern regions, where the drought is at its worst. Other crops facing failure are tea, plums, and a Taiwanese favorite, mangoes. In the southern city of Tainan, Taiwan's mango capital, the local government is stepping in. It set up 29 points where fruit farmers can get water. Together, they can supply 300 metric tons of water a day. The city plans to keep supplying farmers with water for around 2 months, until it hopes Taiwan's rainy season will bring some much-needed relief. Devin Tsai and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan is withdrawing its financial stabilization fund from the local stock market after a record run. The fund is used during times of financial instability to prevent short-term disasters. It was activated in July last year after Taiwan's stock market suffered major losses. Its withdrawal on Thursday marked the end of 275 days of intervention. The council that manages the fund says that slowing global inflation and interest rate hikes were behind the decision to withdraw it. There are only 2 types of butterflies in the world that migrate during the winter, and one of those is being impacted by the ongoing drought in southern Taiwan. Harrell Hughes has the story.
This is Taiwan's purple crow butterfly. It's among the country's 400 butterfly species. Like the monarch butterflies in Mexico, the purple crow migrates during the winter and spring. This species calls Kaohsiung in southern Taiwan its winter home. The area's purple butterfly valley is not actually a designated spot. Weather patterns and vegetation make it relatively unknown until the butterflies arrive. But the severe drought here has impacted the location and timing of the purple crow's migration back north by around half a month.
有比较慢从蝶谷出发，可是它还是在清明节的前后，就是有大量的紫斑蝶吊打。
Last March and April saw almost 300,000 butterflies return north. So far this year, only 86,000 have made the journey. But the Conservation Association is not concerned.
整体上来讲，今年的数量还不错。那以3月30号来讲，它是最大量是在1分钟有555只，那一整天飞下来有49000多只。
To protect the butterflies during migration, the government has set up a corridor of large nets to help butterflies safely cross highways. If their numbers exceed 250 per minute, the government closes the outer lanes of the highway. Despite this year's drought and the purple crow butterfly's late departure, Taiwan is still working to keep its title of Butterfly Kingdom. Alex Chen and Harrell Hughes for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, check out these cute endangered baby loggerhead turtles being released back into the wild in Sydney, Australia. I'm Jaime Ocon. Take care and see you next time.